I got a strange going on out here. Something just killed my dog.
Something killed your dog?
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. You guys know who I am. I'm your host, Dano. You guys, I have got a great guest on for tonight. You guys, it's an interesting encounter, and I can't wait to bring this guest on. But before I do, you guys, thank you for all the support. If you guys have had an encounter and you'd like to come on the show, or just send me your encounter because you're camera shy, no big deal. You guys can hit me up at the cryptopodcast72 at gmail.com. Again, that's the cryptopodcast72 at gmail.com. Now, my guest tonight, his name is Derin, and he is from the great state of Alabama. And you guys, Derin had an encounter back in 2017 while he was on a 3-day hunt in the Bankhead Forest up there in northern Alabama. What started out as a regular hunt turned out to be more than that. And, here we're coming up almost on 10 years, and he still remembers like it happened to him yesterday. So, you guys, without further ado, let's bring Derin on to the show. Derin, how's it going, buddy?
Dano.
Hey, man,
What's up, bud?
I'm glad you reached out to me, man.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear this encounter.
Yeah.
And so what I'll do is I'll just give the show to you, man, and I'll sit off camera and I'll be writing down my notes and questions.
Sure.
It's all yours, my man.
That's great, man. Glad to be on your show. I finally, I seen you. I think, of course, doing Bigfoot believers and other creatures and everything, and totally watching YouTube and everything. I just like a lot of other people, kind of watching YouTube and people's had them encounter. You hear them, they kind of dive into everything that's Bigfoot, and I was. But anyway, I was watching your channel, and you started doing a coffee in the morning with Dano. That was really cool. So I come in, we started chatting, and I listened to a lot of people. I kind of mentioned it to you, and you're like, "Hey, man, kick hold of me. Gonna come on the show." And I like to, because it's the only way you can help people. Other people have been through this. I believe YouTube hosts like yourself, have people on that have encounters, and we know it helps other people. But yeah, since that happened in 2017, I went on with Kerry Arnold first. I started watching exactly what I'd done. Shock of it, I watched Kerry Arnold. I watched YouTube, and I reached out to Kerry Arnold. He had me on the show Bigfoot Odyssey. I come on. I was so nervous, but I told my story and got through it, and it was just like a weight lifted off my shoulders. I encourage anybody out there to want to listen to this today, get in touch with Dano, get in touch with somebody, and it's just it's a weight off your shoulders because it's a big burden, tell somebody this, something like this. It just, you don't want to. You think everybody thinks you're nuts, but that you're not. They're out there. So let me tell you what happened to me. So I'm a drywall contractor from Decatur, Alabama, and I have been hunting. I raised 3 boys. They took them hunting. My dad took me hunting. It's just a family thing. Not really the getting out there or killing or anything, although I like venison. Everybody does. But it's the nature part of it. Morals, manners, values. It teaches patience. It teaches everything that you need. Some things you need in life. Navigation skills. I mean, go on, But anyway, I digress. I was in 2017. I live here in North Alabama, and we got a beautiful place here called Bankhead National Forest. I believe it's 497,000 acres. It's beautiful. Some of it's virgin timber. But anyway, in this forest they have a management area, about 36,000 acres, and they really manage it well. And you can pay $15 extra during hunting season and get a management license. and that's just strictly to hunt these management hunts. And the morning, or you buy your license, and you buy wherever you get your license here. You got the option to add that buy management license there for the forest. Then I do every year, and I did this year. Excuse me. And so I had when you buy your management license and you go on this hunt. The morning it's usually a 3-day hunt. They go, sometimes they go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And this one started Friday and went till Sunday. And you got to be at the ranger station in the morning of the hunt, and that's just how they do it. So whoever's hunting that hunt, this is a long line, little ranger station. There's a few of them scattered throughout the forest, and you drive there, 3:30, 4 o'clock. They open it like 5 hours before daylight. There, you're in line. You drive through, and they stamp your permit, or write on it, give you permission. Better have that on you too. You got to have it on you all the time in case game warden comes up. But anyway, it's good. It keeps everything documented, and they managed to herd that way. So I got up Friday morning, and it was the end of January. I believe it was, right at the end of January, and I believe the 1st of February might have been the last day. I don't know. It's something like that. But so we sat in line that morning, get everything. I'm excited. I'm a drywall contractor. I usually don't take off during the summer, work all summer, and this is my vacation time. So I got my permit, got everything ready, got up, we got a line at the ranger station. Go through, got and I got a place where I hunt, but it's anyway, I got everything done. I got back to my hunting spot, got in the woods, and where I hunt, I found this place about 6 years earlier. You wouldn't think it, but unless the map. I mean, this had a beautiful green field. Is what I'm saying, that the game wardens plant on the management area, and they plant a lot of them. But this one was just a little plot off by itself, and nobody knew about it. I never seen another hunter come in there, which was great, But for me, that nobody knew about it. But so I'm usually there by myself. So I'm saying, and I was that day in this hunt. So I got in there, I got to my place. Got in there about whatever. Wasn't really late. Got everything done. Matter of fact, no, well, not clockwork. So I got in there about 30 minutes before daylight. And about these management hunts, when they do have them, especially the first day, there's usually a lot of action because you got hunters moving in to spots, spreading scent, smell, stuff like that. And the deer usually really moving, especially the first day. So I get in there, you sit down, starts breaking daylight, beautiful, uh, all the leaves are off the trees. It's just a magical place. I'm down and I'm sitting over here, and I'm on top of the green field I was hunting is like level with me right here. And also I was sitting level with it down in a hollow right over here, so I could see straight over. So deer come down this hollow, they got their head down, they're foraging. They don't look up. They usually just walk down in front of you. I mean, but it's good. I was ambushed. So I'm sitting there, and it gets, starts getting daylight and everything. And I hear something coming. I look over there, and sure enough, there's two small does coming down this embankment on the other side from the green field. And I thought, well, okay, here's the parade starting. I'm of course I always get excited no matter what it is. Like I said, they're beautiful to look at, but they go down there, and they're together, and it's one just a little older than the other one, a little bigger. I assume they were twins, but one of them was more healthy, whatever. But I wasn't going to take them no way. They're small. They didn't have spots on them if they were they were last year's deer. When they come down, they done like they always do. They foraged around there a little bit, but they didn't stick around. They walked down to the hollow because I found out later they was going down there to get water. I knew they was going down for some reason. All these years, deer they just done that. They fall them down, they'd come back up and eat. So anyway, I let them walk on past, and um, nothing else come through or come out of the green field or out of the bedding area, which was, looking back now, I know it was strange, but then it was just aggravating, because I was like, something happened. I must have got in here late. Maybe they changed the route. I'm thinking all kind of things, and that may have been what it was. Which then again, it may have been another reason. But anyway, I didn't notice anything really out of the ordinary. Of course, I was focused on my hunt. But anyway, so I sit there, nothing else come. I sit there about lunch. It's pretty chilly, even though that's Alabama. We get good cold weather down here, and it was. So I said, well, at lunchtime. I knew a guy, a friend, my neighbor. Matter of fact, lived across the street. He bought some land up there, and so I was gonna go stop by his house middle of the day. Usually nothing moving in the middle of the day. I don't know. Deer usually bed down wherever they are. They'll just bed down in the sun and recharge, in the wintertime or whatever, and they'll start moving back to their bed and they're doing whatever they do in the evenings. Excuse me. So anyway, I did. I got up and went to my buddy's house, or went to my buddy's land. I knew he was down there hunting. He was already out of the woods. We talked a little bit. Went to a little local store down there. Got some snacks, drink, whatever. Just chilled about a couple hours, and going back for the evening hunt. Well, I went back to the evening hunt. I got back to my same place. Seen two deer there, so I know they're moving. Where I was at. I went in a tree stand. There's a cedar tree that was fell down, and I was in behind it, so it had it like in front of me, but I could see through it. Plus I camoed down, so I could just really hide in there. I didn't move, but went back and got back in there about 1 o'clock, something like that, and sure enough, about 2:30, which should have been a little later, but whatever. I'm trying to figure out all the details because I still pick it to death because trying to figure out what happened, the whole thing. But anyway, these two doe that run down there that morning, or went down there that morning, come running back on my side of the ridge, um, like something was chasing them. I heard him coming. I thought, oh, what is this? Uh, I thought it was a big buck, but it was those two does hitting the feet hitting the ground. It was making a lot of noise because they were running. And I'm like, when I seen them, I was like, all right, what's going on? I knew it wasn't a buck. I knew they were too young to even breed. So I thought, well, there's a predator chasing them. What's going on here? We we don't have any predators here that would chase two deer in the middle of the day. Uh, they, coyotes hunt at night. Bobcats definitely ambush predator. They don't really run. We don't have any bears. But I'm fixing to see what's going on. I was kind of froze right behind the cedar tree, and these two doe come running. I mean, they went right in front of my stand, and they when they got up to where I was at, they stopped and started like prancing, and they smelled me. So I said, because one of them had his head down, the other one was just like this, and I was like, so I just froze, but I was looking at the other one, and they were looking at them. They were standing there kind of looking at me for a second, but they just looked around and kind of looked. Then kind of one of them looked back. They started trotting and then back into a full run. Went over back down just the way they'd come that morning, except they come in front of me and went down, went back up into their through the green field into their bed in there. Well, I'm sitting here and I got a view down this hollow, for 100 yards, and I'm waiting on whatever it was to come out, and whatever it was, didn't, like I said, I didn't think it was a buck. Could have been a buck, but it was not. It was. I don't know what it was because it never come out. Because if it would have, I'd have seen it. But it, just weird. Animals are weird. Little action there. Okay, great. I didn't think nothing about it. I brushed it off. Went back home. I lived far from Bankhead. So it took me about, without going to game warden station and all that, took me about, 30, in 40 minutes to 45 minutes, I could be in my stand and ready. So anyway, I went home. Got up next morning, gonna do it again. Sure enough, got up, straight to the place I was hunting. Same thing, got in there great. Just a beautiful weekend. And about 8 o'clock, something like that, here come a great big doe, big healthy doe out of the bed in there, same route that they always take in them two to it. And she's by herself. She don't have a little one with her. And on this hunt, there was a bad hunt, you get a buck and a doe. You're allowed to get one of each. So I said, well, I'm gonna harvest this doe, and I did. I had 30-30. And if you can, if you're a hunter, you know what I mean. But if you harvest the animal, you got a chance, and they're close enough, you can, not have to hit them in the vitals, because you don't want to have to. If you help mess the animal up, it's just a lot cleaner if you can do like a headshot or whatever. But I did, because she was really close, coming right in front of me. Got 30-30 with a scope on it, been hunting with it for years. So one shot, that's it. Instantly, she goes down. I'm like, yeah, all right, it's great. That's what I come for. But now the work's on. Got to get down there and got to clean the animal and everything. So I did, but I was prepared for it. Except I got down there and just, since I didn't have to shoot her in the vitals and mess anything up, it was a more clean dressing around. I just took a good old buck knife. I just unzipped her, reached up in there as far as I could, cut her windpipe, uh, cut her, just post in the back, cut her anal tube, and they got a membrane, that holds like everything in, and just cut that little membrane, and anyway, I worked everything out of there. More or less, it fell out one piece. Everything come out at once, and so that worked out well. A little drainage creek, or just a drain uh, that run down through there, had a little water in. I washed my hands off. But now the work starts, because I'm in that bottom I was telling you about. Now I got to carry her up this hill. I was there by myself. A buddy of mine was down the road, but I mean, I ain't gonna bother him, middle of the day hunt. So, but I'm gonna take the animal and take some processors. So I got through. It was about 8 when I pulled the trigger, and by the time I hossed her up that hill, I would walk a little ways, and because it was like getting up that hill was a problem. I had another way to do it. The dragger wasn't working. I took my rifle about halfway up and set it next to a tree, and I went back down here and got her, threw it over my shoulder, and trying to hoss her up this hill, about 20-30 steps, man. I just laid her down. Okay.
You're good.
I went by the processor. Good.
Yep, you're good.
Dropped off the processor. Dropped off the processor from my store, grabbed a little drink, and got back up to the mountain into the forest. Went back to my place. And got in there about 1 o'clock. But when I walked back in there, and everything, I walked down through there. Of course, I've claimed deer down in there before, but it doesn't seem to matter. You got to do what you got to do. But I walked in, I looking around, looking for my gut pile, and it gone. I, I, I thought, I thought, I know I'm in the right place, you know. There's hair here. I can see where I claimed the Dutch, see where I dug up, and this in the right place. I've been hunting there 6 years. But the gut pile's gone. This complete gut pile come out in one. I said it kind of one, all of it at once. And I thought to myself, man, why? They sitting on the ground, what a pack of coyotes had come down in here and eat that gut pile up. Just a little time I was gone. You know, of course, or hogs or something. We got hogs up there, coyotes, and I mean that's what I was thinking. But that wasn't. It wasn't. It didn't look like coyotes or anything got a hold of it or hog. No, they come through there. When they get a hold of something, there's bits and pieces, and it's ravaged, and the leaves would have been messed up, and just didn't make no sense. Of course, we all want to be comfortable. When we're in the woods. I basically explained it away as a pack of coyotes had come down there and gobbled it, gut piled up when I was just gone that little bit, and but me sitting on the ground too. It kind of freaked me out. I ain't really scared of coyotes, but a whole pack of them down there come through like that. I'm like, okay, and that's what I made myself think. Now I look back and I know it wasn't coyotes. It something because I remember when I was looking for that gut pile, I kind of leaned down by that creek where I claimed the deer. Kind of looked down the creek a little bit. And man, I remember, looking back, it seems like there wasn't tracks, but there was like impression steps, that had just smashed the leaves down. So that's all, and up that creek. I couldn't. I mean, just looking back, that's in my mind. I swear I seen something. Looks like cause something had to come down there and just pick it up, and walk away with it, man. It didn't. There's no way coyotes done it. But at the time, um, trying to we want to make ourselves feel comfortable, and I never would have thought it was anything like this out there. Uh, anyway, so I just kind of shook it off, and I went back, got in my blind. I was right there, and nothing else moved that evening, which is also strange. I mean, they just seemed like, well, even if they took another route out of it, there's a great big bedding area. I was hunting. I was right at the front of the management area, and it just, I've seen a bunch of action come out of there. But anyway, um, every hunt, animals are weird. So, um, but I went. So I went home that evening, nothing other come by that evening. So I get to the last day, which is Sunday, and I get up and I go back to the same place. Well, I hunted that morning. Evening time comes, and uh, I think, well, I got one more evening this evening to kind of give me a buck or whatever. And nothing really seemed like it's moving here. Maybe me cleaning this deer's messed it up somehow. It never had before because, like I said, they just seemed like they didn't pay attention coming off that hill. But I'm going to, I come in, I set that the next morning, get up, come in. It's the last day of the hunt. It's the last hunt of the year. So I come in, I go back to my little cedar tree, my blind I was in, sat down there, uh, nothing, come out. I said, well, my buddy, I told you, had the land up there. I took him that field before, and he had. I'd always sit right there where I was sitting because I just liked that spot. So he just went on down this little green field about a mile long. So he just went on down there to the end of it, and he went in the woods like I did. And this hollow gets bigger as you go down through there. It opens up, bankheads, big woods. And he had told me, he said, man, there's waterfalls at the end of this hollow, man. So there's water down there. He told me about these waterfalls. And Bankhead's full of waterfalls. It's if you look it up on the computer, that's what they call it, land of 1,000 waterfalls. It's just a geographic. Um, it had a lot of action back in, you know, like earthquakes or whatever. But anyway, there's caves, there's a bunch of waterfalls in here, a bunch of creeks, springs. These natural. It's beautiful. So I'm going to hunt the evening hunt. I'm going to move this. Move my hunt down to these waterfalls. I'm really kind of stalk hunting too. Um, last day, so this field, they planted it in a zigzag pattern. And they done that to accommodate more like bow hunters. They do that sometimes. Every 100 yards, it would just zigzag because bow hunting, you don't shoot as far with a bow. You know, you got about 100, 50, 100 yards. It's plenty to give a man room to hunt with a bow. So um, anyway, it zigzagged down through there. So when you stalk hunt, like go down through there, you can actually great place for it. You can go around the corner, and I'll be feeding out in the middle of this beautiful grass they plant. But that's what I was doing, just trying to do everything I could to, make the most of the last day. So I got up on my spot, my cedar tree where I'd hunted the previous days, and I start stalk hunting down um, this green poop. And of course I walked down through there and nothing, didn't really see nothing. Uh, so I get down there about so let me back up a little bit because you got to have hunter's orange on in this on these management hunts. Not only is it the law, but I suggest it because there's people out there on these hunts that they may not. They're a bunch of idiots in the woods from public property. You run into that. And I say idiots, people that don't know how to hunt. They are cheated anything. I mean, public land is what it is. But I had on a red hunting vest that I snagged at Walmart. It's cheap. Just throw cloth, throw on cheap thing. And so I had it on the whole time that I'm hunting down there. And I had it on the day before when I carried that doe up that hill. And when I did throw across my shoulder, I mean, of course, blood got all over everything got all over the hunting vest. But I didn't have another one. And I just used that one next day. And I say that because when I got on down to the end of this field, and there was a big log sitting over here to on the corner, and this hollow opened up, and by the time I got down there, it had opened up, and I just eased over there to the edge and looked across. Sure enough, man, it's this big beautiful waterfall across there with two, big one coming down, one trickling down, or not trickling, but one smaller one beside it. Beautiful. Uh, Washing these rocks and stuff off, and man, I just like I sit down, lit a cigarette. I sit down there, just looking at these waterfalls, looking around, taking it all in. It's a pretty, wind blowing just lightly, but all the leaves are off the trees, and I'm sitting there looking at these waterfalls. Excuse me. Let me get a drink, y'all. You got any questions, Dano, right now?
I'm just writing them down.
Uh, anyway, I'm sitting on this log, and I'm looking at these waterfalls. Last day of the hunt, and it was really peaceful, and but so you can tell. I can tell you how big a limb is when it snaps. I mean, I can tell you if it's a limb, big, or it's a little twig it breaks. Well, I'm sitting there on this log, and just out of nowhere, snap right behind me, like, and I'm sitting there, a cigarette, I'm looking at these waterfalls. I got my rifle. I'm it was loud enough that it startled me. That I jumped up and spun around. I'm sitting on this log. This 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 thing snapped right behind me on my right shoulder. I'm right-handed, so I couldn't turn around this way. I had to jump up and spin around all the way around, and I did. And I come right up with my gun, and when I did, what I seen was, it was gray and blocky. It was a man. But it looked like it was big. It was like a refrigerator or something, like a piece of plywood. It was big, like blocky, and like a football helmet sitting on a refrigerator, man. I don't, to try to explain it, I never can explain it. Let people know what I seen. Really, it had. I know it wasn't laying there when I come up. It had to smell that blood on my hunter's arms, and how it come up that hill behind me, up that hollow, and got behind me. And it being so big, I don't know. When I turned around, it already, I believe, stood up, realized. I think it come up there. I think it smelt the blood on my hunter's arms. I think it come up there to see what I was, maybe thinking I was a wounded deer. I think maybe they run across that from time to time. These management hunts, people, I'm sure they shoot wounded deer, don't find them, whatever. Um, or, but when I turned around, it was in the process of lunging off of this hill. When I come up, I come right up with my rifle. I turned around. And not because I'm brave. I was just in hunting mode. That's just what I ain't know what it was. I ain't know, but I knew it was something because it stepped on that limb or snapped it. And I just come up with my rifle. And when I come up, and it was 15 yards right there, 10 yards. It was lunging. I caught its profile. It was lunging off of this hill, going back like it was going toward them waterfalls. Like I said, we don't have any bears down here. We don't have any predator down here. But I didn't know what it was, and I was in action already. It took off down that hollow, side of that hollow, toward those waterfalls. I run up there with my rifle, trying to look through the scope. I looked through the scope. I was trying to get in the scope, and I did get in the scope. It was huge, man. It took off down that hollow away from me, and it was going and weaving in and out of those trees. It was running straight over there over here to these waterfalls that I was looking at. Weaving through those trees and stuff up through there, and I'd get in my scope, and it'd go behind the tree, and it just run straight over and up beside those waterfalls, man, and over the hill beside them, and was gone. It looked like a it looked like a I guess an orangutan, a huge, you know, orangutan or something running. Or man, it was great. Um, it totally blew my mind. I didn't know what it was at the time. Bigfoot never come in my mind. Sasquatch never come in my mind. I wasn't thinking anything about that. But you know, I I'm stunned. It goes over the hill. I look around and so I'm like the horse. Uh, wasn't a horse. It wasn't a cow. Uh, it was it. Anyway, I started walking back to the truck, and back to the truck, I start going through this, seeing everything it didn't take me long to figure out that what had happened. And I start putting all this together the whole 3 days, which I believe this is all played in. I believe he was around me the whole time. I I believe that it tried to. I believe it tried to catch one of those two little ones the first day. That's why they come ranging up there, telling me passing or whatever that would be because something was chasing them, and I didn't see anything. They weren't just running for fun. They were scary eyed, but anyway. And the next day, I killed this doe. Come back. I knew it wasn't a pack of coyotes or anything come down there and devour that gut pile. When something does that, it just ravishes it and it would mess the leaves up, and you can imagine. Um, it was like something picked it up, just walked off with it, and I know that's probably what happened.
Man.
Yeah. But I get back to the ranger station. Go back to my truck, and I'm puzzled. I get out there to the road. Game warden's out there. He's checking license. Truck's parked there. There's more people there that walk back to the power lines. I could totally perplexed. I didn't think anything about it. And I'm tripping out. I walked. I said, "Hey," and I started reaching in my pocket, pulling out the permit and everything. Started hand to him. I said, "Man, y'all have Sasquatch, Bigfoot out here?" I just said it out loud in front of him and the other guys there too. They looked at me and I realized what I'd said. When I said it, I said, "Look, I seen something down there, man." When I said, "Man, y'all have Bigfoot up here?" Really, like I said, I didn't know. I just said it out loud. They looked at me and said, "No, we got a bunch of feral dogs up here." He said, "That's probably what you're seeing, a wild dog." When he said that, it kind of made me mad that he kind of brushed me off like that. I don't really think, looking back now, I don't think he ever know anything about it. I can imagine what it sounded like when I said it. But anyway, I I just got back in my truck and I went home. Uh, I've never been back to the woods. Never went back yet.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
plan to go
I don't
back one day.
well, I don't blame you. Not one bit.
Yeah,
Especially what you had. So I do have some questions.
yeah.
Okay. So on day 1, you heard the movement, you looked over and you saw these 2 yearlings probably come running up by you, heading in one direction. And then
Well, yeah.
later,
They,
when you came back for the evening hunt, you looked over because you heard movement and you see the 2 yearlings come over and they're pretty much now around you. Were they
yeah, they're
acting nervous?
coming.
Were they acting nervous?
They were running, blinking, running,
Well, you
wild
said
eyed.
yeah, but you said that they kinda stopped around you and were kinda, like, moving around. Were they moving around like they were nervous, afraid of
No,
something?
they come out of the hollow. I'm over here looking straight at them. So they come out of across the other bed there, across the green field and down this, and they hit the bottom of the hollow, and they're going like that way toward the waterfalls or
Mhm.
through the water, or whatever, in the morning. And they usually wait till eating time to come back. But when they did come back, they were running like a predator was chasing them.
Yeah,
They come
that
back on my side of the hollow over here. They usually come back just walking in the middle and go right back up. But they come down on this side and was running at me like something was chasing. I
yeah,
thought,
yeah, that's what I was
yeah.
referring
And
to,
but
that
yeah. So what I'm saying is when they're running like a predator was chasing them, they must have winded me or something. Then when they got in front of me, they kind of stopped and or slowed up, like they
mhm,
run into just my scent wall. You know what I'm saying? And the which reason I say that is because if they winded me, whatever was chasing them might have winded me too, because they were definitely running from something. And
so
I mean, you can tell they were just
So when they left, when they blew by you finally, did you hear
Yeah.
anything else coming from that area? None? Okay.
No, no, because I was looking, I stopped and I was like, I was just waiting for something to pop out. No matter what it was, I mean, you just kind of tell. It was
Okay.
whatever, it stopped short
So
or whatever. And
Saturday,
hang on just a sec. Yep. Whatever chasing those does just stopped short and
yeah.
they keep on coming. I'm thinking,
So Saturday, the next day, day number 2, you harvested a doe. You went
yeah.
down this little creek area. You washed your hands, and
Well, the creek was, yeah. The
so
creek was running. She come off the hill, little creek was already running right there in a hollow. Kind of went down beside this little drainage creek. When it runs, it said puddles in it. Just a drain off really. And when I shot her, she went down right beside it. So that's where I took care of her.
yeah, but you said you were washing your hands off and stuff. Now,
Yeah.
did you have a sense that anything was maybe around that area? Okay.
No,
So
not
when you
not.
so after you dressed her out and then you packed her up, about how long was it from the time you finally packed her out of the woods to when you went back into the woods for an evening hunt? About how long?
Man, tops. I'm going to say 3 hours. It was two. It was two
Okay.
2.5 hours, 3 hours tops. Cause I shot her that morning. I got her. I left the woods with her about 10:30. Took her down into um, little town right there. Buy a processor that was down there. Um, I did run home. Of course, I don't live far from there anyway.
Right.
Grabbed something, water, a couple bottles of water, and some to eat, crackers. I think I already had some pot of meat in the truck, and
Okay.
went back and walked back in there. I even thought, well, I'm a little bit early, but hey, more time to get a buck.
Right. So then you go in the next the next day, the final day, Sunday. Now, did your friend go in with you?
No, he never showed up.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I got
So
I got mad at him. Go ahead.
because you had mentioned that he mentioned to you that there were waterfalls down on the other end of that hauler.
Yeah,
So I was just under the
yeah, that was
impression that he was with you. He just told you that, like, prior to going back out?
yeah we had,
Okay.
yeah he went there with me before. So when I was talking to him, I stopped by there during lunch the day before after or Friday. But he told me that the waterfalls were down there because he had back a few years ago. He went with me and went on down there and found and seen them. I was telling him about it. We were just talking. He said, "Well, there's waterfalls down there." I
Yeah.
was like, "Okay." So that's why I went down there Sunday to check
So
it out.
you switched gears. You had a successful hunting spot, a comfortable one. You've hunted there many, many times. Now you
Yep,
decide to go down towards these waterfalls. And
yep. I thought,
about how long were you set up on that log before you heard
man,
that branch break?
I was there. It wasn't. It was not. It could have been 15 minutes. I lit a cigarette. I just dropped it 3 minutes before
Yeah.
and put my foot on top of it. Put my foot on top of it. I ain't rubbed it in or nothing. I just dropped it and.
Now
And I
we're gonna get into you seeing this thing because you
yeah,
hear this branch break behind you, this twig or whatever, stepped on it or whatever. You turned around pretty much probably like anybody would do, and you said there it
yeah.
was. It was gray, it was blocky, it looked like,
It,
you know, you said it looked like a refrigerator, and it said it was lunging over the hill. Now, before you do that, you actually got a good look at this thing. So, what did its face look like?
that it didn't have. It looked like a football helmet sitting on top of the refrigerator. I didn't look at it straight on forward. When I
Okay.
turned, when I spun around, it had it. I don't think it stepped on a limb. I think it broke it on purpose. It
Ah,
was too.
okay.
It's just too intentional, man. I believe it. I believe it come up that hill, and so there's a little sage grass growing right on the edge of the green field where I
Mhm.
was sitting. So, and it was, you know, of course, it was not high at all, but I believe it. I believe it stalked up there below and couldn't tell what I was. I believe it smelled the blood on my hunter's orange,
I I would
and
I would
something about
agree with you
smell
on that.
alone.
Oh,
That's
y
what I want to think.
yeah, and I tend to believe that because it's a predator, and uh,
Sure,
just like the pile that was gone,
sure.
and I've seen that happen, when I've gone hunting
Well,
myself, but, I go out the
yeah,
next day, like a whole new day at 24 hours, and it's
right.
gone. So me, that tends to I tend to believe that that was coyotes or other
Sure.
type of predators, or whatever things like
Yeah.
skunks and possums and things like that that
Hey,
eat that type
hey,
of
and
stuff.
it may have been something come. It may have been something come out there and got that gut pile. I couldn't figure out. I can't figure out how anything picked it up all at once and just walked off
Yeah,
with it. And
but
anything else that didn't have
that's the difference
hands.
between your encounter and what I have seen, because I could obviously tell that there was predation going on there.
Sure,
Yours, it was clean
sure.
slate. It was a clean slate.
Yeah, yeah.
So
That's
let
what.
me ask
So
you about how big was this thing? Like
I,
tall, guesstimate. How tall, how heavy do you think?
I, when I mean, man, it had to be. It was a. It had. I mean, I don't think it was a female. I've raised three boys myself, and I've hunted a long time and just experienced them. And what I got, I believe it was a male. I believe it was a. I actually believe it was a young male. Say if he was human, let's say in his 20s, maybe got left his clan or was on its own for some reason. I believe it was there looking, maybe it was either there hunting or, you know, there looking for its own territory. I'd
Mhm.
hunted that place for years. I'd never seen anything like it. No tree breaks, no foot, nothing like that. I just hadn't. It just seemed like it was, but it was big. It was, see, man, stretched all the way out. When I seen it through my scope and everything going up through there, it was long.
If you
I'd
had to
have to
put
say
go ahead.
8. I had to say he's 8 foot. I'm a drywall contractor. I see this every day. And 8 foot's really, it had a, I say it looked blocky, like it had a gut. When I seen it from profile, man, it just looked like a freaking Pinto car. A little, it was big. It was
Yeah. About
800.
you broke up again. About how much do you think it weighed? Just a guesstimate.
Sorry about this internet. I've been asked this a lot. I, I think I got to say, between 800 and 1,000 pounds.
Okay.
Uh, Way more than anything I've
Yeah.
been that close to. My
That
buffalo, it was like the size of a buffalo.
that's a big boy.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
And
well,
man, I didn't, but it was.
I don't blame you. One, for not going
Yeah,
back in the woods or going back in that area. Number two, I mean, let me ask you about how far behind you was this thing? How close did it sneak up to you?
20 feet, 15
Good
feet.
night, man. Are you?
It was, I mean, it was right there. And it knew. I mean, you could tell when I seen it, because I come up with that gun, man. It knew that it messed up. Excuse my
Mm,
language. Because I didn't know what it was when I seen it, but I come up with my rifle because I was still already in hunting mode. Had it had progressed to me, this would be a whole different.
Darren, I
What
have goosebumps, man, because you're sitting there enjoying a cigarette. Okay, you got your Hunter orange on, you got your Blaze orange on, right?
yeah,
Unfortunately, it has blood on it from yesterday.
yeah,
You're enjoying the scenery. You're getting a chance to look at these waterfalls. You're like, man, this is beautiful. It's peaceful. You're
yeah.
taking a little break, and then you hear a noise behind you, a tree, a limb snap or something, and here this thing is 15 feet away from you. My goodness, brother, man,
Worst game of peekaboo in my life. I mean, surprise to and I try. I mean, I got to make fun of it a little bit, laugh at it. People that go through this, man, it really messes them up. It did me for a long time.
yeah,
3 years, three
yeah,
years, crippling PTSD from my trying to explain to my brothers and
yeah,
everything why I didn't go hunting anymore. I never told them.
yeah.
So
Well, my friend,
yeah,
I can't thank you enough for coming on. I truly, truly appreciate you coming on.
yeah, man.
Hang out in the lobby. And before we go, though, what do you think this thing is?
Uh, Everything I've seen, a lot of different things. The one I had an encounter with, it's not a Gigantopithecus. If it's anything, it's a relic human from an ancient tribe that I believe they're really good at blending into the forest and not wanting to be found. It just seems to be, but it's part human, whatever it is. It's got human element in it.
Yeah,
Uh, I really don't know, and I still don't know.
yeah,
I don't believe it's Gigantopithecus. It's not a leftover ape. That
no,
they just don't match it. You know, way it
no.
acts. It's a predator. Of, yeah,
Honestly, I think and
of our intelligence.
oh yeah, I think and some people they'll want to argue and things. I'm gonna tell you right now, wherever one of these things are in, wherever one of these things are, I mean, it is the apex predator.
Yeah,
There is nothing else I don't care if there's grizzly bear, mountain lions, black panthers,
yeah,
bobcats, whatever. This thing is the apex predator.
yeah, yeah. I'm
And
sure they will.
I think it's just like on any given day, you can run into just a random person and you can catch them on a good day and you can catch him on a bad day. And I think what he did is you caught him on a good day.
We both crossed paths, and we were both surprised. I believe they had in this forest. They had to come and connect Hunter's orange gunshots with food, with
Mhm.
the entrails being left. Spookiest thing about one of the spookiest things about it is that he sits there and watched me clean that dough the whole time I was there. You
And
know,
here's the thing, how long was he sitting up there watching you on that
that's what
log?
that's what I mean.
Mhm.
Think back that he was sitting there watching
Mhm.
and could have thought me could thank God he had patience.
Who's to say he wasn't there in the morning watching you walk in and
I
following you?
he was in the area before I got there. I
Mhm.
know that because he was too much went on in that hollow right there between me and that waterfall with in that short time for
Yeah.
him not to have been there.
Yep.
Uh, you know, and there's
Well, my
caves and waterfalls and man that anywhere in the quartz. Okay, that's everywhere there's seems to be quartz in the ground. Now
mhm.
this is totally out there. I started thinking about this years ago, and it seems like every bunch of other people did too. And I started hearing on podcasts about quartz. There's something about quartz and limestone caves and stuff
Yep.
that they're in the area, and for your activities. To us,
Mhm.
it seems like it's one of the things. I talked to MK Davis. He said, I asked him about it. He said, man, I said, is there quartz in the ground at Bluff Creek? He said, an abundant amount of
Yep.
quartz in the ground. So I just testing the theory of
Oh yeah.
some more friends. Yeah.
Oh, I've had that conversation with MK
Yeah,
Davis.
okay.
So,
I may get off track there, but
oh no, you're good, man.
no
You're
thanks.
good because
Yeah,
with
yeah,
these things, man. I always say in this community and in this, the whole cryptid,
yeah,
subject,
yeah,
the world of probability is vast because you just really never know. And if anybody's going to ever say, well, I'm an expert on this, I'm going to call them out
yeah.
because here's the thing. No one's an expert. You can have
No,
guesstimates. You can have guesstimates on what's going to happen
if
if
I
you know how to read body language and things like that.
if I had to pick out an expert, it would be MK Davis or Daryl Denton.
N-
I mean
as good a friend as I am with Daryl Denton,
yeah.
Daryl
I mean
himself at dinner, me and Daryl at dinner,
yeah.
he said, "I'm no expert."
Dude, I love that dude.
I love
He,
Daryl.
I do
Daryl,
too, man.
and I even had Ron Moorhead tell me.
Yeah,
He even
cool,
said, "I am no expert."
bro.
So
When Daryl, I got in this group and you're in it too, Bigfoot Believers and Other Creatures. Anybody see this
yeah,
podcast? Y'all want to join private group? We don't, everything stays in group, but there's 207, or let's see, how many people's giving us 78,000, I think. It's in the
uh,
group now.
yeah, in Daryl's group, I think it's like
Yeah,
70 something thousand. Yeah,
78,000
yeah,
people in a private group, and we discuss everything.
yeah,
So come
yep,
join us, Bigfoot
yep.
Believers and Other Creatures.
Absolutely, man. So, hey, I'm gonna say thank you again. I
Bro, you're so
appreciate
welcome.
you. Hang out in the lobby. I'll be
All
right
right.
back. All right, my friend?
Okay. See
All right,
y'all later.
bud.
Thanks.
You guys, what an amazing interview. What an amazing story. And what an amazing guest. Now, I'm going to have to go in and edit this a little bit because his internet kind of froze up on him. But you know what, you guys? Just think about that. He's out there 3 days. First day, nothing. The biggest thing that he sees are 2 yearlings, and if anybody doesn't know what a yearling is, it's a deer, it's a doe, it's a fawn that's 1 years old, and so it's a yearling, so they were born the year before. But he sees these 2 in the morning, and then he sees them at night coming like something's chasing him. Doesn't hear anything. Second day, harvests a doe, comes back a few hours later, and the remaining part of the doe that was you field dress it, that's completely gone. No signs of predation or anything. It's just gone. And then he's sitting on a log for how long is that thing watching him? You guys, that's a crazy, crazy encounter, crazy story. I know Darren's got some more things, so him and I are going to talk again. I'm probably going to have him back on for sure. But again, if you guys have had an encounter and you'd like to come on the show, please, by all means, send me an email at thecryptopodcast72@gmail.com. Even if you don't want to come on the show, but you have to get it off your chest, please email me at thecryptopodcast72@gmail.com. This is a safe place for you to tell you guys a story. I can't get out of here without saying what my buddy Josh from Mysteries Unknown says. You guys stay prayed up. And as I always like to say, you guys, remember, a legend begins with a sighting. Have a great night, guys, and I'll see you on the next show.
I got a strange going on out here. Something just killed my dog.
Something killed your dog?